Hello, I'm the official name raider. You can see right now all of the links have been clicked on, and that's because I just finished recording up this episode, brought it into the editor, and I realized the first 8 minutes don't have any audio. Don't know why, no rhyme or reason, there's just no audio, so I'm going to quickly try and retrace my steps. Today we're going to be covering Spinarak and Ariados, and, because I want to repeat my little fact, the bug-catching theme song that you're hearing now is actually just the Gen 1 bicycle theme. Charlotte I don't really care for as a nickname. I understand why, and I think anyone that sees a spider named Charlotte is going to get it. I just don't particularly like it just because that's just a normal name. It doesn't have some sort of cool, unique spider name that could be exclusive to just Charlotte's Web. No, Charlotte could be some girl in your class for all you know. It's just not interesting as a name, so I don't really care for the idea of it, but I get it. Eight-legged freak, I like the idea of the reference behind it. That's kind of a weird one, but, props for originality at very least. Aragog, Harry Potter reference, totally fine with it. I like it. The only other thing I remember is this one was a popular choice, which you'll hear me say at the end of the video. And there's just a lot of cool spider names, but not enough cool spider Pokemon. Cool, so the good news is I think I understand what's happening with now and why it messed up, because it messed up again, so now I have to repeat myself a third fucking time. I like Goma, I like it as a nickname. The only problem I have with it is the stupid Ocarina of Time idiot and the stupid Wind Waker idiot are the same name. Because Zelda has this stupid thing of reusing the same name over and over again, regardless of what it resembles. I wanted to use I wanted to use whatever the Wind Waker boss was named for Centiskorch, because I thought that would have been cool. But they named the stupid Wind Waker idiot after the Ocarina of Time idiot. So that's the only thing I hate about Goma. Otherwise, it's a fine name, just Zelda's really shit at naming their bosses, apparently. SpiderMan I don't think is a very good nickname. It's equivalent of naming your Crobat Batman. The main difference there is you can at least name your Crobat Gotham if you want to be different, and you can't name your Ariados New York City because no one's going to understand that. So Spider-Man's kind of a very limited choice there. I don't Lord of the Rings, but if that's a thing that interests you, I'm going to acknowledge it here. Also don't really recognize the kaiju from Godzilla, so haven't watched that. But if those interest you, there you go. Skulltilla is a good choice. If you're one of the people who's going to haggle me about the pronunciation, get over it. So they misspelled it. It's Miss Muffet, not Miss Muppet. But Miss Muffet is a good idea that I haven't seen before. So I like that one. Goes after the children's nursery rhyme. Or if you're a meme lord, then Undertale. I'm also going to acknowledge Widow. I don't particularly like the name. I think it's basically the equivalent of naming your Arbok Viper. And when you think about it that way, it's kind of a really dumb name. I figured it out. That's why. Okay. I was thinking about it. I was looking at No Doubt. Hold on a sec. I was staring at No Doubt for a while, and I was like, do they mean the band? Okay, I'm going to write this down for my own personal use later, just in case I can think of why. Now I figured out why they said No Doubt. Because of the song Spiderwebs. So, that's a pretty interesting reference that took me a minute. Okay, I want to give props for originality. I like Madam Web much more than I do Spider-Man. The only real thing I have about it, which again, you can choose to ignore this if you want, not make it a big deal, is just the gender thing. Because we have female Mr. Mimes in the world, so you can just ignore it and name it whatever the hell you want, regardless of gender. I personally don't give a crap what gender mine is. If I like the nickname, I'm giving it to it regardless. So if that's a thing you want to go for it. Alright, so that's the bottom. We've clicked on everything, and we still have the spreadsheet to check out. Okay, so there's nothing on here that's interesting to me, but I'm going to acknowledge this one because I've seen it a bunch of times. Apparently it's some god or whatever, I don't care. I've seen Arachnophobia before. I don't think that's interesting either. They spelled it wrong, but I think that was a stylistic choice. And then Spinaret's the only other thing I want to acknowledge, just because I think the idea of naming it that is really weird, because that's the equivalent of naming your dog Paw, your cat Whiskers, or your mouse Tail. Those are just really fucking weird ass names, and I wouldn't use any of them. But we've seen a whole bunch of good nicknames, and I still have stuff on here that hasn't been mentioned. So we're gonna go over them all in alphabetical order. So Aragog, I really like that one. Goma, really like that one too. And now this one is new to you, and that's Gumo. That's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. That is one of my brother's favorite cards, and I think it's a cool idea for a nickname. This is, again, like, me listing out this stuff is kind of where I'm like, there's a lot of really cool spider names, but only 2 spider Pokemon, which really sucks, because I want to be able to use so many of these, but I can't. Miss Muffet was good. No Doubt was surprisingly clever, and I imagine the joke there is to teach it Spiderweb, so this way it can say, no doubt, use Spiderweb. You get it? Dante used Inferno. I find it cringe when I think about it that way, but in general I like the idea of naming it No Doubt, because cool band reference and just fucking, that's galaxy brain right there. I don't care about the pronunciation, so if you're going to be one of those sticklers, get over yourself. I have been saying Skulltula for like 20 years. Get over it. But Skulltula from Zelda, another one that's new to you is Squitter. That's the spider animal friend from Donkey Kong Country. Weber, that's the spider from Dr. Mario 64 and I believe Wario Land 3. And then Yakuza, which is the spider boss in Metroid Fusion. Again, that's a lot of nicknames based purely on 2 spider Pokemon that you could interchange these with. And those aren't even the ones I use. I just kind of went with Nightcrawler because it just feels like legitimately the perfect kind of name you would assume and put on a spider-based Pokemon. I'm pretty sure it's also an X-Men. It doesn't resemble the X-Men at all, but like, I feel like you would call a spider something like that. You'd call it a Nightcrawler or a Creepy Crawly. That's just kind of what us as humans kind of go to, so I like that as a nickname. And yeah, I just wish we had more spider Pokemon so I could use some of these names. But even if the internet didn't come up with the most, honestly, Aragog was the one I saw the most, so just know that that one's the most common. But yeah, I just want more spider Pokemon so I can use these names. But in general, we found a lot. There is a lot. I provided a lot. Provide more of your own ideas if you have them. Leave comments, ideas below. Give a thumbs up to the ones you think are good, and let's keep the discussion going.